Hello, David here with Arctic Lab Services. Today I'm going to be completely taking apart a Nintendo GameCube controller. First, you want to remove these 6 tri-wing screws from the outer shell. Then just wiggle the bottom shell away from the top. Using a pry tool, release the cord from the stress relief post. Then lift the PCB from the top shell and set it aside. Looking at the top shell, notice how the Z button is sitting. The post is in a post hole, and the edge of the Z button is positioned on the inside lip of the shell, and the metal flat spring is resting inside a notch post. Just lift the Z button straight up. Now you can remove any silicone button membranes left from removing the PCB. I check to see if any buttons are stuck before I just dump them out and set it all aside. Going back to the PCB, pull up on the thumbsticks. Take note of the key tab on the analog module and the key notch on the thumbstick. This only allows the thumbstick to be put in one way. Remove any remaining silicone button membranes. Then remove the C-stick. It also has a key tab and notch. Next I will be removing the rumble motor. I start by fishing the wires out of the tabs in these locations. With the motor wire free, I can pull the motor away from the housing. Next, I will be removing the motor housing. Flipping the PCB over, I release the 2 tabs holding the housing to the PCB. I just pull the housing back and away. After making sure the wires are clear, the trigger buttons just slide out of the housing. On the bottom half of the shell, I will be removing the trigger assemblies. First, I remove these 4 Phillips head screws. Then I just pull off the trigger assembly plates. Take note of the indent on this plate. The indent is there for the Z button. To remove the trigger assemblies from the shell, I squeeze the assembly together and rotate it into and out of the shell. I do this to both triggers. To disassemble the trigger assembly, I squeeze it together, and with a pry tool or flathead screwdriver, I release the guide arm from the trigger. After removing the button spring, I just pull the guide arm away from the silicone membrane housing. Notice how the membrane housing is hollow? I just insert a pokey thing to remove the membrane. And that's it. Now you can clean, repair, or paint your controller.